Yo, what's going on? What's going on, fellas, ladies, and gents? Hold up, let me. Oh, it's not popping up right now. Gotta give me a second. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? How we doing? Yo, what's good, Tokyo? What's up, Tokyo? What's up, Gru? What's good, guys? Early crowd, love it. I forgot. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick, and then I'll walk right back, and we're gonna dive into this shit. It's been a minute since we've been on Cyberpunk, but should be fun. Should be a blast, as always. So yeah, honestly, I've been fiending for a fun game. Siege, I'm just kind of over lately, and I was just kind of recording some regular content for it, so I haven't streamed on there. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'll be back in a second, guys. Alright. Fuck, I'm back. Damn, that video's taking forever to upload. Holy. Still at fucking 70%. Alright, fellas, we are back. Feels good to be back. I know the quality's low-key not gonna look as good. I have my different monitor right now, so... Yeah, I'm not even gonna show you guys the graphic settings right now. What's this? Oh! Yeah, I had the same reaction, V. I tell you what, Bubba. Alright. Dang. Just like me. Dang. Hey, B? Hey, Judy? Hey, B? What am I gonna call her?
V, how you doing, honey? Listen, got a golden opportunity for you.
Word on the streets that when Wacko says golden, it's usually a turd wrapped in crepe paper.
It's a sticky situation.
Sticky? Wow, you're really selling this, Wacko.
Job like any other. Just the client's will demanding.
Client's got every right to be demanding. What makes this one any different?
Wants everything to go exactly as planned. Willing to break the bank for it, too. Job like this needs your magic touch, V. Anyone less experienced it, just fuck it up.
Huh. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Now I'm sure it's a turd in crepe paper. So what's the spec?
I really want to switch.
Caroline Jablonski. Set off any buzzers for you. Murdered in cold blood. Made waves a few years back. They locked the guy up. But now there's a chance he could walk.
Cheers,
Jablonski's
fellas.
family wants to balance the scales of justice for good. You'll finish him.
What am I doing? Who am I killing? I wasn't listening.
So you want me to murder someone?
Wait, this isn't the Dalai Lama? Must have gotten the wrong number. You didn't arrive in this pond yesterday, V. You know how the fish gets sliced.
Facts. You're right. Let me lock in.
The perp being proven guilty? Meaning he deserves to die, truly?
Do I look like a criminal prosecutor to you?
What did he do exactly?
I'm not a beat reporter, neither. You want the job or not?
Fuck it, we're taking it. Oh, yeah, I'm I guess.
Alright, I'm in.
Oh, yeah, we're taking the job.
Good. Client will be waiting for you by a car at the corner of 6th and Brandon.
Stay left.
Huh, in a car?
Client wants to tag along. Be there in person when you put a bullet through the guy's eye. Good luck.
Yeah, I really wish my can't talk. Wish I had my other monitor on. Oh well. But if you get me, dude, I'm not switch that shit.
Don't make trouble. Be in trouble. There's smoke. This fire.
What's the move? Huh? What do we have to do? Kako, this one could be fun. I don't know if I've ever done this, to be honest. How far is it? Holy! Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
gotta be kidding me.
All units in the area, order has been restored. All units instructed to return to patrol.
Here we are. Guess I just gotta wait.
Huh?
Bill Jablonski.
Did Okada give you the details?
My info is I'm supposed to off someone.
No, not just anyone. Joshua Stevenson, a fucking murderer. I'll tell you more inside. Get in. You're driving.
Heard. See what Go get this motherfucker.
They're supposed to pass down this street. We just sit tight till they show up and follow them. I want to see the light in that motherfucker's eyes go out.
Whoa, why?
So he can smell his own fear before he dies.
Want him dead, why exactly?
That's not your concern.
Rather know what I'm getting into.
Stevenson murdered my wife. They convicted him, put him on death row. But the slime bag found a get-out-of-jail-free card. Over my dead fucking body.
Wait, Stevenson won't be alone? Could have prepared better knowing that.
No one else needs to die today, only him.
Who's his entourage? They gonna be packing?
Ordinary people. Once we scare them, let them know we're serious, they won't lift a finger.
How do you define ordinary?
Corpo rats who got him out of the can. They'd sell their own mothers to save their own skins. Just don't fire at them.
Nothing to do but wait then.
What's your name?
V.
Let me tell you something, V. That sack of filth took the life of someone I loved. I can't live with the thought that he... There they are! Step on it!
Oh shit, where, homie? Bro, like, sorry, man.
Stay on him! Don't let him get away! Watch out! Can't lose him! Bastard's gone! Got away! Beat it! Get the fuck out! You're useless!
I actually failed? Nah, like, how did I fuck up that bad? Are you serious? I literally have to go back. Dude, the quality of the quality is like shit on stream because of this fucking monitor right now, bro. There's no fucking
A nearby damaged power station in Santo Domingo. The emergency.
no way I just failed that. Like, so easy. Now I literally don't want to do that.
After the break, President Myers has released a statement on the flow of refugees from the Netherlands.
Don't tell me just reset. I'm gonna jump. I swear I'm gonna jump. I should just reset. What's the vid you're uploading? It's an older 1v2. I'm the one, and then it's Berlin, and I forget her name. It's one of Berlin's friends. Yeah, it was pretty good though. It was pretty good. So, yeah, we're like fucking drunk. It's good last second of but yeah, that'll come out. I think tomorrow. Around like 3 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow usually. Okay, let me focus, bro. What am I gonna do? Let's get something to do. Yeah, what? Alright. Yeah, you got me fucked up. I think I'm about to... Bro, snack sounds good. What's your guys' favorite snack? Cheetos. But that's yeah. I feel like that's kind of valid. I fuck with like the hot fries more. Hot fries with gas. Or if it is hot Cheetos, it's gotta be the limon. Limon's really fucking good. That's really good. Limon is fire. I'm telling you, bro. Damn, I'm craving that shit. Good. Alright. Just going on with these guys real quick, hey? Oh yeah, I forgot. I should have done that. What you recording, bro?
Come on out!
Not kill him.
Let's make this personal!
Was it personal, buddy? Huh? Was it really personal? Huh? Yeah. Money shard. Ooh, that's fire. Some years. Some lions.
Here we are. Guess I just gotta wait.
Ooh, I'm gonna lose it. Totally reset the upload.
Huh?
Whatever.
Bill Jablonski.
I'm skipping this shit.
It's my cord hitting my damn keyboard.
Did okay.
I already talked about all this, bro. I already talked about all this, but I'm still gonna do it. That's what I do. I'm the goat.
That's them. Step on it.
The police? You mean to tell me I'm... What? Bro, the police, bro?
Don't let him get away.
Oh my god, no, I'm gonna lose my mind. Fuck, it's gonna be true. I'm actually gonna lose it. I'm gonna save. I can't save. Why is my fucking This car's pissing me off. If I crash out,
Watch out!
Like last time I was this close. Oh.
Can't lose him.
No, brother. Come on, son. He ain't going nowhere. Well, I'm thinking it's left, yo. Yeah, watch me drift that shit. Dude, roadblock ahead, he's killed.
Stop the damn car! Fuck! Brake, I said! Brake!
Bruh, it stopped.
This is it.
Calm down.
Let's go.
You gotta stop yelling at me, bro.
Stay close. I'm gonna blow the motherfucker to bits myself.
I think he's gonna die, watch. I think this guy's about to get gadded. It's just my
I'm gonna
guess.
do it. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
I hope you do. Watch, I'll cripple him for you. Don't worry. I'll cripple him for you.
NCPD! Stop right there!
Damn thing.
Lieutenant Vasquez, NCPD! Stop right there!
You're protecting a murderer.
Drop it or I shoot!
Oh no.
You fucking idiot!
Oh no. Oh my god, please kill him, bro. No, I'm done.
He's hacking our
Take
crow!
yourself out. Get out of here. Bro, how much health does he have? Did I actually just die? No way, I thought I'd help. I actually thought I'd help. I'm actually done. Let me actually just fucking like kill this guy real quick. What am I doing? I was lucky trying to let. Are we dead? Fucking. Oh my god, I'm about to fucking lose my mind, bro. Max difficulty? Yes, sir. Gru, it is. It fucking is. Like, oh my. I'm done, bro. I swear.
Here we are. Guess I just gotta wait.
Hey, how much health does that guy have? I have my shit maxed out nearly. At least for like, how far? Shit.
Huh?
Bill Jablonski.
Bill, I'm literally gonna let you
Did
die.
Okada give you the details?
I don't care. Fuck Okada.
My info is
run
I'm
this
supposed
shit.
to off someone.
Give a fuck about you. Don't care. Yeah, I know your wife's dead. I'll have to fucking avenge her, as you said. It's great.
Stay on him. Don't let him get away. Watch out! Can't lose him.
Bro.
Fuck!
Alright, fuck this guy. This guy's getting the fucking heat, bro.
Stop the damn car! Fuck! Brake, I said! Brake! This is it. Let's go.
You ain't doing shit, bro. That's all I know. Alright, this guy's fucking done.
Stay close. I'm gonna blow the motherfucker to bits myself. Fucking idiot.
I'm so done. Why do I keep dying so fucking fast? But like, this guy's he's stronger than Adam Smasher, I guess, bro. Like, I don't stand a fucking chance. Like, I don't know. Like, he just owns me, I guess, bro. Like, what is that shit? Actually, I'm done. Let's jump into something else, guys. Let's get the fuck out this game, guys. Huh? That sound like a good idea? Does that sound like a swell idea, fellas? I'm not gonna fucking close this shit. Holy no, I'm done. Nice. Nice. Don't know. Let me hit up Berlin. See what the Berlin guy is doing. No, he hasn't hit me back. Sick. Sick. I'm gonna hit him up again. Dude, like, why can't I... This damn keyboard. Okay. I think I have the king. Who's we? We ready? Who's we, bruh? Hey, look at this guy. Who's we? We ready? Who's we? Who's we, papa? Who's we? Who? Shit. Who? Is my life misunderstood? I guess I'm misunderstood. Alright, I'll shut up. What day is it? Monday? Yeah, I'll do that. What do I change it to? I'm trying to find a photo. We're just gonna change it to a blank photo of Oregon. Boom. Alright, bet. Let's change the title. Oh shit, I'm just like fucking scratching my eye. We ready? I'm so confused, bro. Alright, whatever. We'll wait for him to hit me back. In the meantime, do I have anything to watch or like react to? Oh yeah. Trump blocked off the Hormuz Strait or whatever it's called. The Strait of Hormuz. Sick. I'm about to have like fucking $12 a gallon in Cali now. Sick. 5 days, so look, like this is what's on my what is this guy fucking for real?
Watching Amen Corner.
Is this guy actually for real, guys? Five days solo Amazon jungle survival. No food, no water or shelter. But alright. Hour 40? Yeah, I'm not watching all this. So that was like gonna be. This is sick though. I'm just gonna watch this later. While we wait for Berlin, the fuck do we watch? Give me a second while we chill. Wait for fucking Berlin.
Of course my phone dies. I try to do.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to pull up. Does yeah, I do have chat open. Watch if civilization collapse. Could you rebuild it? Yeah, I bet. Try and watch that. Is that shit gas or what? Is that the move? It's good, trust. This shit, but we're gonna try it.
Imagine waking up in a world where modern civilization has collapsed. No electricity, no supermarkets, no internet. In such a scenario, how would we rebuild?
If civilization collapsed, could you rebuild it? We're about to find out.
Imagine waking up in a world where modern civilization has collapsed. No electricity, no supermarkets, no internet. In such a scenario, how would we rebuild?
So basically just The Last of Us. Honestly, like, you guys ever have that thought, like when you're a kid and shit, like, of just being in like a post-apocalyptic world and whatnot? Not even like some zombie shit, but like, there's just like nobody and like you get to explore the fucking world, bro. I always thought of that when I was younger. Even as I got older, of course, but dude, I always really wanted to like experience that shit, like The Last of Us, or like just without the fucking zombies and fuck shit, you know? Just go explore, less people around. I don't know.
Lewis Dartnell's The Knowledge offers a roadmap to reconstructing society from the ground up. So let's dive into the 7 essential steps to reboot civilization. And if this kind of idea sounds familiar, it might be because I made a video about how useless most of us would be if we were dropped into the distant past about a month ago. I thought this one is a sequel of sorts. Also, I want to clarify right now that what I mean is essentially think of a global catastrophe, essentially post-apocalyptic in a sense. That is the type of world from which we're going to try and rebuild society from. So the immediate first step would be to prioritize shelter, warmth, and water.
Alright, how does the priorities go? Food, water, shelter, warmth. Safety, employment, assets, family, friend. Oh, okay. Inner fulfillment is the last. Copy that.
In the immediate aftermath of the catastrophe, securing shelter is key. Exposure to the elements can be as deadly as any other threat. You want to seek out existing structures that can be repurposed, but always assess their stability. And if none are available, constructing a basic shelter.
Bro, see, yeah, like if the shit hits the fan, I'm straight up gonna pull the outdoor boys. I'm going out in the middle of nowhere and building this. Like, I'm not gonna go to a fucking Home Depot or a Walmart after, like, the world's fucked. Fuck no. Everybody's gonna be there. Yeah, I'm doing this.
We're using natural materials like...
Dude, this guy, the outdoor boys would be so fucking set. I mean, he's already in Alaska, bless his fucking soul, you know? So he's far away, but Dude, he can fucking survive. Dude, that's who you pick. That's who I'm picking on my team, guys. What about you? If I'm picking a duo to go into the apocalypse with, it's definitely the outdoor boys. Yeah.
Wood, leaves, and mud can provide the necessary protection that you would need to survive in this environment. Warmth is critical, especially in colder climates, so learn to build efficient fires using available resources. Understanding insulation techniques such as using layers of clothing or creating windbreaks can really help.
Did you just say you're picking LeBron James? You're picking LeBron James to be your duo in like the post-apocalyptic survival. It's actually not a bad pick, bro. LeBron's, yeah. It's actually a pretty good pick. I don't think he knows how to like start a fire, but he's kind of like 6'10" and fucking athletic as fuck. Pick fucking Apple's pretty good, honestly. Get like the free from the tree. Why did I? Okay.
Retain body heat. And of course, water is crucial for survival, so natural sources like rivers and lakes might be contaminated, so boiling water is the reliable method to killing pathogens. Additionally, constructing simple filtration systems using sand, charcoal, and gravel would help purify the water. Step 2 is to scavenge wisely and initiate farming. Right. Initially, scavenging available resources like canned goods, tools, and seeds would be able to sustain you. But that's a temporary solution. Transitioning to agriculture ensures long-term food security. Understanding soil types, crop rotation, and irrigation techniques will be fundamental in establishing a reliable food source. Start by identifying fast-growing, high-yield crops suitable for your environment. Think beans, potatoes, and leafy greens as good options. Save seeds from each harvest to ensure future planting, and composting organic waste can enrich the soil, promoting better crop growth. Step 3 is to commit to intensive farming practices. Farming is labor-intensive and requires dedication. Selecting appropriate crops for the climate, managing pests, and ensuring soil fertility are continuous tasks. Like I said before, implementing composting and natural fertilizers can enhance the yield, and over time, mastering these practices will be able to lead to a surplus in production, allowing for trade and community growth. I think it's also important to consider...
We're gonna do this. Watch. A little video swap real quick, alright? Don't hate me, guys. A little video swap. That was kind of boring me, not gonna lie.
Applying for job.
Alright. Hey guys, if you're unemployed, hit them up, I guess. If you need that job, get that bread, bro. Live your life. Alright. What came before the Big Bang? Tell me, bro. Fill me in, man. What came before? What came before the Big Bang? Let me know, man.
Actually understand the Big Bang Theory because what they teach in schools is wrong. I know this because I just got my degree in physics and what they taught us isn't actually...
Okay, we're 5 seconds in the video.
You don't actually understand the Big Bang Theory because what they teach in schools... You don't actually understand the Big Bang Theory because what they teach in schools is wrong. I know this because I just got my degree...
Fucking done.
Physics and what they taught
dead ass
us isn't actually what most physicists believe. When I started writing this video, I basically just wanted to explain what the Big Bang was and prove anyone who didn't believe it wrong. But it turns out I was wrong. Most physicists today no longer believe that the Big Bang was the beginning of the universe. Ultimately, I just want to answer the question that I think everyone has about the Big Bang Theory. What was it that actually banged?
See, like my thing with the Big Bang... Like, yeah, I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not smart enough.
Was it a singularity? Nothing? What? So let's get to the bottom of this together, and please enter this video with an open mind. Clear all your beliefs about the Big Bang, and I'm sure you'll have your mind blown.
Dude, fill me in, bro. What do you
Long before modern science had been created, humans looked to the stars and wondered about our place in the universe. There were seemingly infinite descriptions of how the universe...
I feel like humans don't do that enough anymore, bro. I feel like, me personally, I kind of always have, like, since being a teenager, well, when I was a teenager and shit, you know? Like, just smoking and shit. And then, like, my homies lived out, like... still suburbs like me, but away more from the city. So it was just fucking pitch black. You see all the stars, bro. Just hitting the blunt with the homies. Look at the sky. It's the coolest shit ever.
came to
Like, no one does that. Like, me and my little group did. And I'm still cool with, like, a few of them. A couple of my day ones. Like, they're still, like, that type shit. Not that I'm saying, like, they're stargazers, but I'm saying, like, they're not, like, fucking, ooh, like, put their head in their phone and shit. Those type of guys. Yeah. Anyways.
be hundreds of gods with their
Anyways, I'm gonna stop pausing. The point is, look at the fucking stars, guys. Alright? Jesus. It's right there. Look up. It's good for you. Alright?
own creationist stories. The Greek atomists believed that the universe was infinite in space and time. The Hindus, Stoics, and Buddhists all believed that the universe went through cycles of creation and destruction. And then in 1687, 44-year-old Isaac Newton published his now famous Principia. In it, he showed that the same laws that described motion here on Earth are true across the universe as a whole. Newton's gravity was born. But there was a problem. If his universal law of gravity were true and every object with mass would attract one another, then surely this force would cause the universe to simply collapse in on itself. Newton borrowed his solution from the Greeks. He basically said that the universe were infinite with no center, and so the matter wouldn't collapse together as the unseen planets and stars would balance the entire system perfectly. Our first model for the universe was born, the static universe. Newton's description of the universe was not only infinite in space, but also in time. Newton was a Christian and therefore believed that his God may have created the universe, but didn't do so at any point in time. This idea of the static universe became widely accepted. That was until some people realized it had a problem. When people looked up to the sky at night, they saw bright spots of light coming from stars and large expanses of darkness. But if the universe were really infinite and eternal as described by Newton, you should be able to look in any direction and see something. A star, a galaxy. This would make the night sky as bright as the sun. And yet that is not what we see. The universe must therefore not be infinite, static, and eternal.
Well, isn't that because... Well, it's obviously always growing and shit. Isn't that the sense of infinite? And if it is, like, actually infinite, we wouldn't be able to see all the light from that fucking far. There's a distance how far light can fucking travel, and we'll see it. So, doesn't that kind of disprove what the fuck homie just said? I don't know.
Something had to change. And that change came over 200 years later, and as with many things in physics, it came from Albert Einstein. In 1915, Einstein published his brilliant theory of relativity, and in it he made a bold discovery. As an observer speeds up, time slows down and length contracts. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time ticks, until at the speed of light, if you could reach it, time stops altogether. Space and time are therefore innately connected. They are one and the same thing, and they form the very fabric of the universe itself, space-time. Gravity isn't a force between objects, it's the bending of space-time itself by objects within it. The sun bends the fabric, and the Earth moves around this curved surface in an orbit. This was all...
That shit hurts my brain, bro. Like, the only thing that really kind of fucks with me, there's a lot of things that fuck with me about space and physics and shit, right? But, and like quantum mechanics, if you look at that, like quantum physics is kind of like nutty. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. It's hard to explain. Anyways, like what really doesn't make sense to me is like how they say like large objects bend like space fabric, because space is literally nothing, bro. It's like, dude, that's where it hurts my fucking brain. Ooh, I don't know.
Good in theory, but they needed a way to test it, and 4 years later,
like
they did just that.
Whenever they show that damn picture right there, like any example of like the sun or fucking any Earth that like literally pulls down space fabric, that fucks with my brain. I barely graduated high school, so this makes sense.
Moves around this curved surface in an orbit. This was all good in theory, but they needed a way to test it, and 4 years later, they did just that. On May 29th, 1919, a total solar eclipse occurred, and it was visible from Brazil. Arthur Eddington organized 2 expeditions on behalf of the Royal Astronomical Society to image the eclipse. They were doing this to test Einstein's theory. If he were correct, then it wouldn't be just objects that move through this bent space-time, but the light itself should be bent and curved to move along this warped path. And since during an eclipse you can see the stars behind the sun, they could check and see if he was right. If his theory was wrong and the gravity of the sun doesn't bend the starlight, then they should appear to be here. But they weren't. The stars were here. They had shifted during the eclipse, being warped by the sun's gravity by roughly the same amount as Einstein had predicted. Einstein was immediately shot into stardom. The Times of London reported, "New theory of the universe, Newtonian ideas overthrown," and his name became synonymous with genius. Einstein's new laws didn't just apply to the gravity between objects either. They could be used to examine the fabric of the cosmos itself. While he had dethroned Newton with his new theory of gravity, he soon found himself faced with the same problem that Newton faced 200 years earlier. In general relativity, the universe was unstable. It must either expand or collapse thanks to the force of gravity. To try and solve this problem, Einstein modified his equations, adding in a value that he called his cosmological constant. It represents the energy of empty space itself. Basically, if you just took a box of empty space, how much energy would be in that box? He could then adjust this value to match the observations of the static universe. He would go on to call this his biggest mistake, but as we'll see later in the video, he might have been right all along. Okay, so around the same time that Einstein was figuring all of this relativity stuff out, astronomers had been turning their attention to the night sky, trying to solve one of the longest standing problems in physics. For centuries, astronomers had observed these fuzzy clouds in the sky. They called them nebulae, the most famous one being Andromeda. They didn't really know what they were. The philosopher Immanuel Kant described them as island universes, but we had no way of measuring how far away they were. That was until a brilliant woman, Henrietta Swan Leavitt, had made a breakthrough. Leavitt was a part of a small group of poorly paid female astronomers known as the Harvard Computers. She was tasked with measuring photographic plates to catalog the position and brightness of stars. In doing this, she studied a special kind of star known as a Cepheid variable. These are bright stars that pulse regularly over periods that range from a few days to multiple months. She noticed a pattern. The longer the pulse, the brighter the star actually was. So astronomers could measure the period, figure out the brightness of the star, and compare that brightness with how bright they looked from Earth. Since faraway objects appear fainter, they could use that comparison to measure the distance to the Cepheid variable. Armed with this method, Edwin Hubble turned his telescope to the Andromeda Nebula and saw one of these special variable stars. He measured the period and calculated the distance to Andromeda. His result? 900,000 light years, well beyond the outer reaches of our galaxy. Those island universes exist. All of these fuzzy nebulae that we had been looking at actually were galaxies of their own, just like our Milky Way. In that instant, the universe as we know it increased in size by 1,000,000 times. Hubble had changed astronomy forever. Another astronomer, Vesto Slipher, had also been looking at these galaxies when he noticed something too. Most of them had their light redshifted, indicating that they were moving away from us at insane speeds, hundreds of kilometers per second. We now know that this redshift was caused by the Doppler effect. Building on this, Hubble used his new methods from Slipher and Leavitt to measure the distance to a number of galaxies and figure out how quickly they were moving away from us. He put all of this data onto a plot, and the trend was clear. The farther away the galaxies were, the quicker on average they were flying away from us. Exactly what we would expect to see if the universe was expanding. The static universe of Newton and even Einstein was dead. Hubble's observations had confirmed what other physicists had believed.
Brother, no, like... Are we gonna get to what came before?
For a while now. Alexander Friedman and George Lemaitre had been using Einstein's equations to predict a dynamic universe. And they were right. They immediately thought to turn back the clock. If the universe is expanding as time passes, when we move back in time, it should contract, getting closer and closer together until it reaches an extremely dense state. Lemaitre called it the primeval atom.
I tried everything.
Fucking ad. I should probably pay for YouTube Premium or whatever it's called, huh?
He claimed that we were living in the smoke and ashes of a bright but very rapid fireworks. Lemaitre became known as the father of this new theory, somewhat ironically because he was also a Catholic priest. Remember earlier how I said space and time were an...
I've heard of this guy, bro. Dude, this guy, fucking sick. Like, really smart, bro. And, like, I think it's really cool that the fact that he was a priest or pastor or whatever they said he was. I think priest.
Also a Catholic priest.
Yeah, Catholic priest, bro. Shout out this guy. This guy's fucking cool and smart as fuck, bro. Like,
remember earlier how I said space and time
came
were
up with some
innately
cool-ass
linked,
theories,
one
bro.
singular space-time. This meant the beginning of space would also be the beginning of time. Stephen Hawking and Roger Penrose would later go on to show that this wasn't just an assumption either. Time really did stop at this initial dense state. They did this by taking Penrose's solutions for a black hole singularity, where there's infinite density and curvature at a single point, and applied it to the entire universe. They were able to show under a set of assumptions that the expanding universe we see today had to have started with a singularity in the distant past. A day without yesterday. This is probably what you were taught in school, that the Big Bang started from the singularity, but as we'll see, this is almost certainly not true. There was a problem with this primeval atom model of the universe. If you took the rate of the universe's expansion and just turned back the clock, you could figure out how old it was. And when they did this, the answer was an embarrassing 1.8 billion years old. Geologists at the time already knew that the Earth was at least 4.5 billion years old. So what's going on? Something had to be off.
What? Bro, nah, like, my brain's broken after that statement.
But to be honest, even without this problem, Einstein just didn't like the idea of an expanding universe. He had deep...
It literally is expanding. Like, brother, you're wrong.
Rooted beliefs in his idea of a static universe, and so he began exploring a new theory that combined the primeval atom with his static universe. If the density of energy has to remain constant, he suggested that new particles of matter should be continually formed. He imagined a universe expanding without any origin, where the new particles could be created arising from his cosmological constant, the energy of empty space. The expansion of space spreads out the new matter, and so the total energy density of the universe is constant.
If someone came up yesterday, what am I saying? If someone came up to you tomorrow, holy shit, I smoked a little too much. Sorry, guys. If someone walks up to you tomorrow or right now, bro, and said, look, you get to go to fucking space for like a week, to the moon, back, like sick as fuck, all paid for a trip, bro. Like, you just experience it. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to stress out. You have no job to do but enjoy it. But there's a 50-50 shot that on the way back, the spacecraft's gonna burn up and you guys are done. But 100% chance you guys get to do the trip, but 50-50 coin flip, you're not making it on the way back on re-entry. I'm doing it, bro. 100% I'm doing it. 100%. Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, like, yeah. I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to, I think one of my friends the other night. We were out drinking, talking about that, and he was like, no, I wouldn't do that, bro. He's all, why, you're risking dying? I'm like, what? Like, you're just gonna fucking die on Earth either way, bro. The fuck? I'd rather go experience some crazy shit. Like, that'd be so sick.
Everything is solved. But he couldn't get this idea to quite work though. There were all of these small problems, and so he didn't tell anyone, and it was only discovered in his archives in 2014. Lucky for him though, 3 scientists in England had all thought of the same idea all the way back in 1945. Fred Hoyle, Thomas Gold, and Hermann Bondi thought up the same concept Einstein had abandoned. They called it the steady state model. These were the 2 big ideas at the time, the primeval atom and the steady state. Hoyle actually had a radio show and spoke about science in England, and one time he was on air describing the 2 of them when he referred to the primeval atom, saying all the matter in the universe was created in one big bang at a particular time in the remote past. The Big Bang name was born, and it stuck. We had the foundations of the Big Bang in place, and it probably sounds pretty similar to what you think the Big Bang actually is. A long time ago, everything was closer together and hotter, and then bang, the universe is born. but there was still testing to do. One thing that people were thinking about is what happens to all of the matter, the planets, humans, stars, galaxies, all of that, as they get traced back in time to the Big Bang. The physicists George Gamow and Ralph Alpha showed that as the universe contracts, it would get hot and dense, and eventually the matter would break down into a soup of protons, neutrons, electrons, and photons. So right after the Big Bang, everything was just this soup of particles. There was no empty space. It was so hot that the whole universe was basically just one big nuclear reactor. The protons and neutrons would snap together, forming the nuclei of hydrogen, helium, and lithium atoms. After about 5 minutes, everything had cooled down enough for this nuclear reactor to shut down. All of the atomic nuclei had been formed and locked into their exact proportions. Gamow and Alpha predicted that 75% of the nuclei would be hydrogen, 25% would be helium, and a tiny proportion of things like lithium would be found. Amazingly, they were right. Observations agreed with this ratio, and they didn't stop there. This team kept thinking about the early universe and their soup. 5 minutes after the Big Bang, and the soup was filled with basically 3 things: atomic nuclei, electrons, and photons of light created in the Big Bang. This light was continually being absorbed by the nuclei and re-emitted, flying around in the plasma because it was so hot. The soup would stay like this for 380...
Why do we keep saying soup? I'm fucking losing my mind if he keeps saying soup, bro. Like, say something else. Describe this shit. The start of the universe. Besides a bowl of soup. Come on, bro. There's gotta be something better.
1,000 years until it had finally cooled to a nice 2,700 degrees Celsius. In that moment, everything changed. Immediately, the electrons snapped to the closest nuclei, and those photons of light...
It all changed. The bowl of soup became edible. It became warm, boys. It wasn't scalding hot anymore. Let's fucking go.
Light were finally free to fly out through empty space. If you were there watching, it would have been a bright red glow, and ever since then, this light should have been traveling out through the universe, being stretched by space-time as the universe expands, getting redshifted so much that it should now be in the microwave end of the light spectrum, and extremely cold, around 2 Kelvin. They called it the cosmic microwave background radiation. If they wanted to, once and for all, prove that the Big Bang was real, they would need to find this light. And if they could do it, they would literally be taking a picture of the Big Bang.
I don't know, bro. I look-y like... I stopped listening for a second. Like, I just heard a bowl of soup and photons and fucking electrons, and I'm like, what? Alright.
By the 1940s, an astronomer named Andrew McKellar was studying clouds of alcohol in space when he measured the temperature of that empty space around
like, look how fucking sick, like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but look how sick this shit is, bro. It's fucking tough. Okay, would you guys go through a black hole? But no, that doesn't make sense. You can't go through. Would you guys go through a wormhole? I'd try it. Like, if they need to test someone, like, yo, go do it. I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm doing that shit.
Clouds. He found it to be 2.3 degrees Kelvin. So what was it? Well, he didn't know, and no one connected the dots. He was measuring the afterglow of the Big Bang and didn't even realize it. In the meantime, the steady state model was basically dead. The main problem for the Big Bang was this age problem. It predicted the universe was far too young. New data had shown that the original distance to the Andromeda galaxy was miscalculated. It was actually over 2.5 million light years away. So using this new data, the age of the universe was predicted to be 10 to 20 billion years old. The age problem was solved. Astronomers at Princeton had set their sights on the CMB, and they were getting close. They could feel it. But someone beat them to it. Just down the streets at Bell Labs, they had detected this strange hiss in their data. Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson couldn't figure out what it was. They tried everything to remove it, but to no avail. That's when they spoke with some people from MIT, and they realized what they were looking at. It was in fact the cosmic microwave background radiation, measured at 2.7 degrees Kelvin. They received the Nobel Prize for this discovery, and the Big Bang had its crown jewel. If we could see it today, as it were when it was first emitted, and take a picture, it would look like a red glow in the sky from every direction. The light from the Big Bang itself. And it wasn't long until they did just that. Took a picture. By 1982, NASA had approved the creation of a spacecraft that would image the entire CMB. It could sweep the sky, mapping what it looked like in every direction. The Kobe satellite. And by 1990, they had all the data they needed and made their big reveal. The CMB in all of its glory. They had mapped the entire sky's contribution.
I don't know, man.
And had the most complete image of the CMB ever taken. Stephen Hawking declared the result the scientific discovery of the century, if not of all time. And it wasn't just beautiful, it confirmed something that scientists had suspected for decades. In physics, there's something called a black body. It's an idealized object that absorbs all light, 100% of it. All of that energy should then be re-emitted by the object in a perfectly predictable way. Its light spectrum should look like this. Depending on the temperature of the object, this shape could change, but there is always a perfect theory.
I don't know if this shit's a cat, but yeah, I don't know if they mapped it all out like that easy in the 80s, bro. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they were that smart, bro. I don't know. I'm not that smart, I'll tell you that much.
Shape for the black body. They predicted that the CMB should have this signature of a perfect black body, and it did. It was the most perfect black body ever observed in history. Standing ovations, Nobel Prizes, and an accurate description of how the universe was born. So that's the end of the story, right? The universe starts with a bang, and that's it. Well, not quite. There were 3 huge problems that were still left unanswered. The first is known as the horizon problem. We have since mapped the CMB to extremely high precision and measured the thermal difference across the entire sky, and it's nearly perfect. The entire signal is pretty much exactly 2.7 degrees Kelvin, no matter where you look. The problem is, there was nowhere near enough time for the temperature to pass from one side of the universe to the other and let everything come to a perfectly even temperature. Even traveling at the speed of light, there was no way that 2 points in the CMB from opposite sides of the universe could have thermalized in the 380,000 years before the CMB light was emitted. It would have literally taken trillions of years. And you might assume that the problem would be solved if the universe were just perfectly uniform right from the start. But if that were the case, we wouldn't see this abstract distribution of galaxies today. The second problem is known as the flatness problem. Space in the universe can have different degrees of curvature. The amount of curvature is given by a number called omega. If omega is 1, then space is flat. Parallel lines will stay parallel forever. If omega is less than 1, space is negatively curved. These parallel lines will diverge. And if omega is greater than 1, space is positively curved. Those very same parallel lines will converge. When we measure the curvature of space in real life, it's nearly perfectly 1. This prediction of a flat, expanding space is inherently really unstable. If there's...
You imagine that shit, like, this is your galaxy, bro. Black holes fucking slowly swallowing you in. That would be so fucking sick. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Isn't there like a depiction of like what a black hole would look like in our solar system? Now I'm just like not gonna find the shit. I swear I saw like yeah, I don't know. Can't find it.
Any slight deviation, another 2 hours to it. Just down the streets at Bell Labs, they had detected this strange lines will diverge. And if omega is greater than 1, space is positively curved. Those very same parallel lines will converge. When we measure the curvature of space in real life, it's nearly perfectly 1. This prediction of a...
Like, I know it wouldn't look like this, bro, but you imagine that shit. Maybe it would look something like that, I don't know, but you imagine that shit. You just look up, bro, and like, damn. You just wake up, you're like, damn, we're fucking done, bro. You're like, that's that. That'd be so sick to see, though. I would not even be mad.
A flat, expanding space is inherently really
that's like okay, no, a nuke is fucked up. I would say like seeing a nuke like that would be like fucking sick too, but that's just kind of fucked up. It's like humans did that, you know?
If there's any slight deviation from one in either direction, it would rapidly diverge away from that value, like a pencil balanced on its tip falling over. And since we measure it as 1 today, it must have been unimaginably close to 1 in the distant past. If Omega wasn't 1, the consequences would be catastrophic. The universe could tear itself apart or collapse and destroy itself. So why is the universe so flat? The third is known as the monopole problem, and it was pointed out by particle physicists. At such high energies like those that would have been present in the early universe, a huge number of these strange particles called magnetic monopoles should have been formed. These are hypothetical isolated magnets with just one polarity, either north or south with no corresponding opposite. The problem is, we have never found even one, and they would have been so heavy that they would have prevented the universe from expanding. And beyond these
north and south, is there even a north and south in space? No. There's not even like an up and down, left and right in space. Like, it's just fucking space. Oh my god, I'm so lost.
There was still the singularity. Most physicists felt something had to be off, that these were just artifacts of the mathematics. Einstein even called the idea that the universe started at the Big Bang singularity repugnant. By this point in our story, everything had started to come to a head. Hawking and Penrose's proof of the singularity hinged on 4 assumptions. Gravity is always attractive, the universe has 3 space dimensions and 1 time dimension, time travel into the past is impossible, and Einstein's theory of general relativity describes the evolution of the universe at all scales. And now, every single one of them is in doubt, especially the 4th. We know that GR has some big problems when it comes to those interactions where it disagrees with quantum mechanics. Both Hawking and Penrose have disavowed many of these assumptions. Their singularity proof that time started at the Big Bang had fallen apart. It's clear that we needed something more, something better than the Big Bang singularity. Our solution would come from a brilliant physicist named Alan Guth. Guth was thinking about phase transitions in ordinary physics, ice cubes turning into liquids as they melt. If you then heat it more, you get steam. These are phase transitions. But there are some strange kinds of phase transitions too. If liquid water is pure enough, it can be cooled down below the normal freezing point, delaying the phase transition in a process known as supercooling. In the Big Bang, it was thought that the universe cooled down from an infinite temperature as it expanded, but this cooling would give us the monopole problem. So what if we could delay it like we can with water? They calculated that if the cooling is delayed a bit, the monopole problem disappears. They just don't get created. The question then becomes, what does this supercooling do to the expansion rate of the universe? Well, you might think of empty space as, well, what it sounds like, just completely empty. But quantum mechanics has shown us that it really is a sea of chaotic activity. Hidden from us, there's a layer of quantum fields, each one corresponding to a specific particle. An electron field, a quark field, you get it. When there's a ripple in that field, we get the particles that make up you and I. Our electrons come from this underlying field. In this empty space, particles and antiparticles like electrons and positrons pop in and out of existence all the time, briefly moving apart before reuniting and disappearing back into the vacuum of the quantum fields. It's these quantum interactions that gives the vacuum of empty space a tiny little bit of energy. And remember, energy and mass are the same thing. So if you have enough empty space and can extract the energy from the vacuum, you can get enough mass to create you, me, or even the entire universe. Guth started to calculate how quickly the universe would expand if it were driven by the energy of this empty vacuum of space, and the rate was insane. The universe in a tiny fraction of a second would expand by at least 100 trillion times. He immediately realized that this insane period of growth would immediately fix the flatness problem. By using this period of rapid growth, the equations got flipped upside down. The value of omega, representing the curvature of the universe, was rapidly driven towards 1. No matter what shape the universe was initially in, the vacuum energy-driven expansion perfectly flattened out the universe. the flatness problem was solved. When he did this calculation, he knew he was onto something big. He wrote spectacular realization. This kind of supercooling can explain why the universe is so incredibly flat, and therefore resolve the fine-tuning paradox pointed out by Dick. The problem seemed to disappear like magic, all thanks to this period of rapid expansion. Guth named it inflation. The final problem inflation had to solve was the horizon problem, and it was actually quite simple. Since inflation grew the size of the universe by such a huge amount in way less than a fraction of a second, any 2 points that we see that were too far apart to be able to communicate and come to the same temperature in the old model would have started out much closer together. This gives them time for the photons to go back and forth and arrive at the same temperature. That's why the CMB looks so uniform today. The horizon problem was solved too. This theory of inflation was doing magic tricks. It solved the 3 most pressing problems for the Big Bang just like that, replacing the pesky singularity in the process. And that wasn't even its biggest triumph. When we look out at the CMB, we can see these areas that have a slightly higher density. There's a little bit more of that primordial soup here than in those cold spots. And since gravity always pulls more matter towards these overdense regions, these little variations explode over billions of years thanks to gravity, giving us the cosmic web of galaxies and structure that we see today. If the CMB were perfectly uniform, the universe would have no galaxies at all. Inflation is driven by the quantum inflation field, and these fields have built-in inherent quantum fluctuations thanks to the uncertainty principle. These quantum fluctuations get frozen into the plasma as the expansion slows down, giving us the variation that we see today. If it weren't for these quantum fluctuations during inflation, there would be no galaxies or structure in the universe today. Combining all of these ideas, we can finally piece together a complete view of what actually banged during the Big Bang. We start with empty space. No matter or light, nothing at all. But our empty space is filled with an underlying field, the inflationary field. This field forces that empty space to rapidly increase in size. If it started out to be around the size of a grain of rice, it would have grown to be bigger than our observable universe in less than a trillionth of a single second. Keep in mind, at this point there is still nothing, just empty space. And then inflation ends, and bang, just like that, all of the energy in this inflationary field of empty space gets immediately converted into the matter and light in the universe. This is the hot, dense Big Bang that you were taught about in school. The light we see as the CMB today, and the matter that forms every star, human, galaxy, all of it is formed from the vacuum energy in that moment. No need for any singularity at all. But here is the crazy part about inflation. It doesn't end everywhere all at once. It happens in patches. So while inflation might decay into matter and radiation, creating our universe and the Big Bang right here, it can continue inflating outside of our universe, spawning potentially infinite numbers of these Big Bang universes.
Are we dead ass? Are we dead ass? Okay, now you lost me.
And we just happen to be inside one of them. The multiverse is born.
This may be the...
Yeah, alright, my brain's fried after that statement. Holy shit, so there's multiple fucking Big Bangs just sitting out there? That's what started the multiverse, and like we just happen to be in one of them, but like, because how vast everything is, right? So like our whole universe, all this bullshit is like right here. Even though this isn't it. Check it. It's like right there. We'll go back. Check it. Check it. Yeah, that's us. That's ours. It happens. Say it happens, right? This is us. Next fucking door, we have 4 more. 5 more. No, I'm done.
To be inside one of them.
No, I'm done.
The multiverse is born.
That hurts my brain.
And that is the most widely accepted view of how the universe came to be. Probably not what you were taught, right? When I was taught it 2 years ago, it was said that inflation happened after the Big Bang. The singularity was still spoken about, and there was really no mention of the multiverse. So, case closed. End of story, right?
Oh, not
well,
exactly.
Not quite. As you've seen in this video, the field of cosmology is constantly evolving, changing, and new theories are always popping up. claiming
Yeah,
to...
because, like, that's my whole point. Everything I was told in school is, like, raw nowadays that I was told about, like, the whole fucking... how, like, the whole universe works. Like, now there's quantum mechanics and, like, they can't even explain, like, that halfly. Like, they can, but they don't understand it. Yeah, like... Yeah, that's why I never believed in shit in school, I'm not gonna lie.
Have a better, more accurate description of the origin of the universe.
Be real,
While
bro.
this
We
theory
don't
of the
fucking
inflationary
know
Big
how
Bang is
any of
currently
this
the
shit
best
works.
we
We
have,
don't fucking
it
know.
doesn't come without its own problems. Some popular critics argue that inflation is just too flexible and not falsifiable enough. In science, theory doesn't mean just an idea like it can mean in everyday language. A scientific theory has to make predictions that can be tested using observations from our telescopes and detectors. But it also predicts the multiverse, something physicists aren't very comfortable with. And before you go commenting saying, physicists can't even agree what the Big Bang is, how are we expected to believe it? Slow down. There are things that we know for a fact to definitely be true. The hot, dense Big Bang, just meaning that everything in the universe used to be really close together and much hotter than it is today, definitely happened. We can literally see it. That is not up for debate. But looking beyond that and trying to answer questions of what caused that hot, dense state and what came before it is what's still undecided. The research for this video was largely based on a book.
The title is What Came Before the Big Bang, and I watched this whole thing for the guy to say, yeah, like, we know, like, it happened, but yeah, we don't know what was before it. 27 minutes and 34 seconds in, he decides to spill that. That's enough. Are we fucking serious? Does this guy think it's a fucking joke? Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm actually so annoyed by that. Good thing I didn't completely close this window. Oh, I'm actually annoyed by that. Oh, that's crazy, guys. Yeah, here's a video about what's before it. 30 minutes in. Yeah, we don't know what's before it, guys. Sorry. Holy clickbaiter. Let's watch this.
Could you use up to 800?
Not this. Don't care. If you guys need extra money, go hit up your fucking plasma center near you. Fire.
Years ago, I got an email from about 2 years ago, I got an email from a guy who had a theory about the...
Alright, this is what we're switching to because the other guy pissed me off. This new pyramid theory explains the missing evidence. Lock in.
The pyramids. And at first, I kind of ignored it. Because when it comes to the pyramids, the line between researcher and conspiracy theorist gets a little blurry. But he sent me all of his research, almost 10 years of work, and I did look at it eventually, and it completely changed the way that I look at the pyramids. He said the pyramid...
It didn't suck, bro. Like, he made a really good video. It was just like, I thought it was kind of misleading what he was explaining the whole time. He just explained the process of the Big Bang and like how a bunch of fucking physicists didn't agree, how it came to be like somewhat of agreement. And his title literally says what's before it. He gets to the point where he's going to explain it. He says, yeah, we know jack shit. What's before it? We've always known jack shit. I got, yeah, never mind. Fuck that guy. He pissed me off. You're right.
Pyramids weren't built. They were unbuilt. And maybe all the missing evidence that we've been searching for, the ramps, the tools, the machinery, it's not missing at all. It's actually right in front of us, just misinterpreted. So I want to walk you through this theory today, but I'm not gonna lie, this email did take me down a very strange rabbit hole. Because for all the theories and simulations and 4,000 years of research and speculation, we actually know very little about how these structures were built. We can't understand the pyramids without talking about time, because the pyramids are very, very old. The cliche saying is that Cleopatra lived closer to the iPhone than she did to the construction of the pyramids. The ancient Romans would tour the pyramids like we tour the Colosseum today, and over that insane scale of time, things get blurry. But what we do know is that pyramids themselves were the endpoint of a massive architectural learning curve, each one taking about 10 to 15 years, and each one getting us closer to the Great Pyramid. 146 meters tall, 2.3 million blocks of stone.
2.3 million in 10 years? Bro, that's so fucked up. That's so much work to do. I'd be thinking my 9 to 5 sucks, and then I hear that. Dude, nah, I'd be so fucking pissed if that's the cards I was dealt in life. Oh my god.
The base is almost a perfect square, off by mere...
I'd be so pressed. Imagine one day your fucking ruler, the pharaoh, whoever, the godlike fucking guy of the whole fucking country or area, they're like, hey guys, I want a fucking pyramid with 2.5 million stones, and each stone weighs about 5 tons. You're gonna do it by hand, with ropes, and fucking not even primitive tools. Oh my god, nah. Yeah, sign me out, coach.
Centimeters, with a slope so razor precise, because even the slightest variation would mean a failure at the top. And the whole thing is aligned almost perfectly to true north, off by just 1/15 of a degree. And they did all of this without compasses, or lasers, or GPS. As far as we know, they used nothing but the stars. And if you scaled it to the size of the Earth, the height to base ratio would...
To get that lined up, to get like north, south, east, west, that's not crazy.
Almost match the curvature.
Like I said, like they said, they just go off the stars. It's not crazy.
Of the planet. The latitude is the exact same number as the speed of light, and just...
That's crazy, though, like, fucking coordinates were added, like, way fucking after the pyramids, obviously. Like, they were recording everything after, but, yeah, that's crazy.
0.0002 degrees off from the pyramid's latitude is also this subway in Louisiana, because a lot of things exist on that latitude.
What?
But you see, the pyramids seem so impossible, and our understanding...
That's just fucking nuts, bro. And didn't it used to be like white and gold too? It's fucking nuts.
...is so limited that it's just the perfect breeding ground
Bruh.
for conspiracy theories. But so it is worth remembering, if any civilization could pull this off, it's probably the Egyptians. Every year, the Nile flooded, and it turned the valley into a surplus machine.
I've seen something like there used to be like, they're saying like there used to be like another breaking point off the Nile. Like they just found that. She might say it in this video. I'm probably spoiling, but yeah. Yeah, like researchers lately, I don't know when, I think literally like 2017 or some shit. And they found that like a dried spot had another break point in the Nile. And like the pyramids are like right off here somewhere. Honestly, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, there's like another break point.
With ridiculous amounts of grain, enough to feed tens of thousands of people who weren't farming. Remember our video on the Romans? They got their grain from Egypt. And that kind of surplus meant Egypt had something incredibly rare in the ancient world. Time, labor, and stability for massive multi-year engineering projects. And they created incredible inventions like counterweighted lifting devices, mummification, star-aligned surveying tools, and one of the most accurate calendars on Earth.
Yeah, the calendar's really cool, I'm not gonna lie. But bro, like, you guys decided to make they're cool, don't get me wrong, they're actually so sick, but that was the end goal. Let's build big pyramids, guys, that's the end goal. For real? I don't know.
Long before most civilizations could even write. On top of that, you have a hyper-organized bureaucracy that tracked everything. We literally have a 4,500-year-old site manager's logbook.
That's true, actually. They literally had tax records back then. Isn't that fucking crazy? IRS knocking on your door in fucking 2000 BC. Fucking... Hey, bub. Yeah, we saw that. We saw that, your shingles. Yeah, you're about 2 shingles off this month, yeah. Yeah, we saw you didn't report it. Yeah, you didn't report it from working overtime on a Thursday on the fucking Pyramid of Giza. Yeah, I know the whole crew, 95% died, but yeah, we're gonna up your intake, your income tax. Sorry, yeah, 2 more shingles, buddy. Get back to it.
Where this guy named Mirror documents how his crew boated the Tura limestone to the pyramid site. In fact, we have records for everything, like how they brought the stone, who they hired, and even the payroll. Everything except how they actually built the pyramids. Oh, by the way, they weren't built by slaves. Archaeologists found entire workers' districts at Giza with bakeries and workshops and medical teams, and even the tombs of the craftsmen. These were skilled labor crews, not an oppressed workforce. And despite keeping
You sure they weren't oppressed at all? That might be a little crazy statement.
diligent records of all of this, when it comes to the construction drawings, it's kind of like they said, well, let's mess with those guys a little bit. Because maybe they knew that we were going to be arguing about this for centuries.
That is not fucking why. Yeah, I'm not trying to bag on this lady, but that is the dumbest fucking reason I ever heard. Hey guys, in 4,000 fucking years, you guys think it'd be fucking hilarious if we like just fucking burn all the records and like they're just scratching their heads on how we built this shit? Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious, bro? Yeah, dude, this is so fucking doing Zimbabwe. Yeah, bro.
A lot of theories about how these pyramids were built. Cranes, counterweights, kites, water elevators.
Yeah,
but there's 2 big ones. Ramps. In the classic one, the external ramp theory, workers drag the blocks up a huge ramp as the pyramid rises. It's very simple, in theory. To keep the slope gentle enough for normal humans, and not physical 100 athletes, the ramp would need to stretch around 2 kilometers. Anything shorter or steeper, people probably start dying on you.
2 kilometers? Yeah, fuck no, they didn't do that. I can tell you they didn't do that shit.
Well, things get a little challenging.
Why does it look like she's crying the whole time? She's like, oh, she's pissing me off.
By the time you've built a ramp that's safe to walk on, you've basically cost yourself more materials and labor just to build the thing that builds the thing.
And like, what, they just completely tore down all the ramps? I mean, I guess you would, yeah, but like, it's like no remnants of it? Is there? I don't know.
And the real killer is, there is 0 archaeological evidence of a mile-long ramp.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, exactly.
Ever existing or being torn down.
Yeah.
Then there's a twist on this theory. A ramp spiraling around the pyramid. Shorter, more compact, reusing the same slope over.
I can see that, but hitting that corner would fucking suck with the boys, right? Trying to hit this corner. Fucking 5-ton stone. That would suck. So, yeah, like, that would suck, bro. I don't know.
Over and over. But now you have a different problem. The faces of the pyramid are perfectly straight. Otherwise, the edges can't meet at the apex. But to keep it at this precise angle, the builders had to constantly check the edges. But with a fat ramp in the way, it's blocking all the corners that you need access to. So if the ramp isn't outside, maybe it's inside. In the 1980s, someone saw a fox entering the Great Pyramid near the base and somehow popping out hundreds of feet higher. That little fox inspired the French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin to propose a hybrid system, a short external
Guy's name's basically Houdini. That's so sick.
ramp made of limestone for the very first third of the structure, which is then reused for the top part once it's done. Then a hidden ramp spiraling inside the structure. It very neatly explains this missing debris, and it even answers some of the mysteries around the Grand Gallery, which Houdin thinks was a giant counterweight system for hoisting the granite beams found in the King's Chamber. It also explains why it's so tall and narrow and lined with strange benches.
Yeah, facts. 100% that's what it's for. You think these guys had break? You think they got breaks? What? Yeah, guys, go group A, take your 15. the fuck? Fuck no.
And covered in scuff marks, as if something hard and
Yeah,
heavy.
look at that. Yeah, what are we talking about? Like, that isn't fucking decay, bro. That gets beat on from work. What are we talking about? This guy just solved it all.
Heavy slid through
Fucking
it
French guy walked in
over
and
and
said, "Hold
over
my
again.
fucking-
It's
hold my
elegant.
baguette."
But then in 2015,
Is that French?
the
Is that
pyramids got a
Italian?
giant CT scan.
Nah, it's French. Yeah, baguettes are French. Bread and shit. That's like the thing.
This is muon tomography.
They're probably good cigarettes.
Think of muons as high energy particles from space that are constantly raining down on Earth. They pass through rock, but very dense areas slow them down. So if you put detectors inside and around the pyramid and wait long enough, you can build a 3D density map, kind of like a medical CT scan, and you can do all of this without touching a single stone. And in 2015, they found something crazy. A massive, unexplained void just above the Grand Gallery, which led to thousands of new theories overnight. But what they didn't find was a clean spiral running just under the surface. If a kilometer-long ramp was hiding there, let's say, you
So how the fuck did they build it? Did they fill that shit?
would expect at least a faint trace, but instead, the scan shows scattered voids.
Damn, what the fuck? How do they build this bitch, bro?
It doesn't necessarily kill the idea, but it strongly weakens the argument. And then most other pyramid construction theories are variations on these two. The thing about these theories is that most of them actually work until you reach the top. The apex is actually the hardest part of the whole structure, because even a tiny error at the base becomes a huge deviation at the top. The edges need to be perfectly straight, so you need full access to all four faces and lots of room to work. With an external ramp, you eventually have to remove it or drastically shrink the ramp right when you need it the most. With an internal ramp, the higher you get, you are losing the turning radius, the hauling space, and of course the ability to check the edges. When you look at pyramids in other cultures, you start to notice a lot of them dodge this issue with a flat top. Even Egyptian pyramids later lose their tips. This is why, according to this Egyptologist, although pyramids were made all over the world, only the Egyptian pyramids are considered a miracle of the world. In other words, this sharp apex actually is the rarest and hardest.
Oh, fat. Is that true? Like, none of the ones in Mexico have the fucking tips or tops on it? Yeah, that's right, they don't. It's like flat. What the fuck? Look at that.
Part to explain, and the key to the pyramid's construction. By the way, all of this background research and custom assets we created for this video, we decided to put it on a dedicated page. And we built the whole thing in Framer. If you want to check.
Producers, this plugin helps you finish your tracks way faster. Check this out. I'm going to start with this.
I'm gonna get fucking copyrighted from all this music. I don't care, sweetheart.
Kickstarted my obsession with the pyramids. His name is HIEN Choi, and he's not an architect, not an Egyptologist, just someone who spent 10 years obsessively modeling every measurable stone at Giza, like thousands of blocks, hand placed in 3D. And at first, I thought it was a little bit, feels a little conspiracy theory. But then I did read the research, and I realized he wasn't trying to solve the pyramid. He was trying to solve the system that produces a pyramid. He says the Great Pyramid wasn't built on its own, but through a chain of sacrificial structures that are designed to be cannibalized. Let me explain. Before the Great Pyramids,
See, this is
was a
something
natural
I would kind of
limestone.
get behind. Like, they build like a giant structure like that, right? And then shape it out. But it doesn't really make sense. No, like it does. Like you like picture how a fucking like a skyscraper gets built. Like there's a whole, even like a house. Like obviously you do the bottom part. I forget what that's called already. God, I'm not qualified to speak on this. Like you do the frame, do the top. You like build around it, right? Think of that. Think of the pyramid. Like you build a big fucking box around it, right? And you start just kind of filling that shit in, but obviously where it needs to be. That kind of makes sense. That's how I kind of think this shit was done. Or I've seen shit where it's like they dug out. That's a lot of digging, bro. Then like, yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe they did. Then they filled the other part of the fucking Nile that got blocked off. I don't know. Maybe.
Stone outcrop with small hills. Most of the core blocks for Khufu's pyramid was carried directly from this plateau, with finer casing limestone brought from Tura and granite from Aswan. And they really used this landscape to their advantage. First, they identified the high points, shaved them, and terraced them, turning the hill into a working platform. Then you overbuild. Instead of starting with a pyramid shape, you create a rough, gigantic trapezoidal
I would picture something like this.
step mass with an integrated ramp system. And once the ramp reaches its full height, you start carving it down into the final pyramid shape. Remember the apex problem? Even the tiniest error at the base explode into huge deviations at the top. But if you work downward from a wide, stable platform, it's much easier to retain this precise angle.
100%. That's how I think that shit was built, bro.
Shape is actually super important here. If we were to apply the system to a pyramid shape, the ramp would get steeper and higher as you go up, creating another death slide for the workers. But a trapezoid spreads outward at the top, and it gives you this workable 7-degree ramp all the way up. A flat, safe working deck around the apex, and full visibility of all 4 edges as you carve the final geometry. Instead of fighting the pyramid shape, you delay it until the very end.
That is fucking nuts. They got all this shit done in like 10 years, though. Like each pyramid done in like 8 to 10 years. That's fucking moving, bro.
Once you carve down the step mass, the extra limestone is then reused for the other pyramids.
Yeah, facts. It's like
the Great Pyramid is...
Dude, facts. That's how they did it. And they just like fucking spent so much time getting all that fucking weight and load over there and shit. Then, like she said, broke down hella. Then you still have like fucking half the resources for your other pyramid. That makes sense.
Roughly 6 million tons. Choice model estimates the initial step mass to be around 8 million tons. Carving that down gives you roughly 2 million tons of reusable stone. This gets split between the working mass for Khafre's pyramid and into the other annex buildings. Then this process is repeated for the other pyramids, each one going through the same recursive construction loop. Once you add all of the stone that moves through this loop, you get around 14 million tons circulating through the system, with roughly 1 million tons left over, which weirdly lines up with the mainstream volume estimates for the entire Giza complex. What's interesting about this theory is that it treats the entire plateau as a single construction engine and a closed-loop system, and it actually matches Egyptian behavior. Because the Egyptians were really into recycling. They turned broken boats into furniture, broken furniture became small objects, and later dynasties literally mined old pyramids for new buildings. So a cannibalizing system for the pyramids kind of feels like a very Egyptian thing to do. And the idea of shaping the earth into ramps, that's not new either. Before the crane, which was invented by the Greeks in the 6th century BC, the landscape was the machinery. The dolmens, the Karnaks, and the early temples, they all shaped the earth into construction engines to build structures that feel impossible. And most importantly, this system explains one of the biggest flaws of the external ramp theory: the missing debris. The ramps weren't lost through time, they were repurposed. But this led me to another very unpleasant thought. See, most theories fail not because we find something wrong, it fails because we find nothing. The massive external ramp? No debris. The internal spiral ramp? No signs of a continuous spiral. The water shaft theory? No canals, no cuttings, no retaining walls. And this way of disproving based on negative evidence totally makes sense from a proper archaeological point of view. But what if that evidence didn't disappear through time, but by design? Maybe for them, a sacred form should not have any trace of a human builder. Maybe they always recycle the construction evidence. Maybe they always restore the site to purity, removed every mark and trace that could give away the construction method.
They fucking destroyed that I don't know why they destroyed it, honestly. They just got rid of the records because they didn't want anyone else to be as fucking G as them. It's as simple as that. They were like, yeah, we literally figured out how to make this crazy fucking pyramids within like 10 years each. Yeah, fuck the rest of the world. We're gatekeeping this shit. We're gonna be the only ones ever with this shit. 100% what they were thinking. That's what I would do. I'm like, dude, I'm gatekeeping this shit. We're gonna be the only ones with this shit. Hell yeah.
It also means that the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. But sometimes an architectural detail can reveal the construction method, even if they try to hide it. This YouTuber, History for Granite, went through an insane journey to catalog around 6,000 surviving casing stones across 3 sides of Khafre's pyramid. And he found a pattern: tiny, tapered stones forming vertical streams on each facade, which he calls bonding stones. A more common masonry term is keying stones, which are essentially smaller, special pieces of stone that can slide down to stitch 2 masonry runs together. And it actually reveals a lot. First, different sections were laid simultaneously by different crews for efficiency, and then stitched together. Second, since there's no bonding stones at the centers or the corners, these weren't ending lines, they were starting lines. The last and most importantly, all 3 faces show the exact same pattern. This is pretty important because if there was a giant external ramp attached to the structure, you would probably see hotspots of bonding stones around the working edge. It doesn't prove any single theory, but it strongly suggests that the casing had to be carefully stitched together from multiple directions, and the crews likely had a wide, stable working deck around a clean, unobstructed pyramid core. Again, this is not proof of any one theory, but maybe it can disprove some theories. So how do we know for sure? Like, how does a theory become proof?
This journey with childhood cancer.
Damn, that's fucking sad. I always fucking get sad seeing St. Jude.
Mr. Wizard, but it's a real power plant and will generate electricity. When I move the gas flame under the flask, the water inside will be heated to boiling.
In math or hard science, proof is pretty absolute. You run the experiment, anyone can repeat it, and if the result holds, then it's true, until someone disproves it. But with archaeology, well, you can't really run the build a Great Pyramid as a lab experiment. So instead, a theory can get stronger if it first predicts what we should find, and then on ground, those predictions match the real traces, and different kinds of evidence all start making sense under that same explanation. And even then, other experts will try to break it. With the pyramids, it's even harder because we're missing the entire construction phase, and we can't dismantle Khufu, and multiple methods could produce the exact same final shape. So it's less, this is absolutely true, and it's more, for now, this is the least wrong answer. And after months and months of digging into this, for a brief second, I also wondered, could it have been the aliens? And I think there's a tiny part of me that kind of wanted to believe it, because it really hurts to think that we might never know the answer. But I know that that's just my cognitive closure talking, because our brains hate gaps in information. But maybe that's the whole point. In a world where we can Google almost anything, the pyramids are one of the last things we can't force into clarity. And maybe if we understood them perfectly, they would lose the thing that makes them.
Yeah, whoever that YouTuber was that went, graphed everything, that guy's fucking right, bro. And the guy that like modeled that shit in 3D for like fucking months, yeah, that guy's right, bro. That's it, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good one.